let there be Carnage with a PG-13 rating. I just got back from watching Venom, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I don't know if I like it more or less than the first one. I mean, what I can say is that I like the tone of the first one a little bit more because the tone in this one just felt like it was all over the place. Like 1 second it's trying to be dark, then it's trying to be funny, too funny, annoyingly funny, then it's trying to be dark again and then funny. And it's just all over the place. Like I said before, I don't read comic books, so I don't know anything about Carnage except that I've seen him in a few video games, like Spider-Man video games when I was a kid. But I don't know much about him. But I've heard people complain that they wanted this movie to be rated R so that they can really like depict like how gory and how violent Carnage can be. I mean, not just Carnage, Venom too, but I mean, Carnage is the villain of this movie, so you want to be able to show all that. And don't get me wrong, like a movie doesn't have to be rated R in order to be terrifying, to be scary, but I mean, it sure helps because you can do more with a rated R film, especially for a character like Carnage or Venom. And not just that, but also the duration of the film itself. Now, Tom Hardy is my favorite actor. I think he is gold in every film he has ever done, or at least the ones I've seen. But I don't know, like he's just not convincing as Eddie Brock. I don't know what it is about it, but I can't put my finger on it, but it just doesn't fit. And I don't mind Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. I think that's how you say his name, because I've seen him in Natural Born Killers. If you've seen Natural Born Killers, you know that Woody Harrelson can play a character like that. So it's not that, it's not the actor, it's just the way it was written, like the way he actually acquired the Carnage symbiote and like what he was after, like true love, blah 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 blah. Like it was just pretty stupid to me. And just so you know, this will have spoilers. Just want to throw that out there really quick. But yeah, he became Carnage because he bit Eddie Brock, and the blood from Eddie's hand or his arm or whatever. He licked it up, he ingested it, and then he became Carnage that way. But how does that really work? I mean, I don't know how it worked in the comics. I don't know how Carnage came to be, if he was just a symbiote just looking for a host. But this feels pretty abstract to me. Like how does that work? Like, do you just bite Eddie and then if you lick his blood or ingest his blood in any way, you just become Carnage? Like, is it only specifically like Cletus Cassidy? Like, how does that work? They don't explain any of that. If they did, sorry, I do not remember. But I don't remember them explaining anything having to do with that. So that was kind of a stupid way to become Carnage. But yeah, and then when he does become Carnage, he doesn't get a lot of screen time. And when he does get screen time, it doesn't really feel terrifying to me. I mean, except for the moment where like you see the silhouette like behind smoke, which is, I mean, cliche. Like you show the silhouette right before something happens, and then he screams and roars or whatever. But yeah, like he doesn't really feel that, like terrifying, like really truly terrifying. And then Cletus just looks for his long lost love, and they try to get married, and that's pretty much it. Like they don't really do much. They don't have much of a build up. They don't really build up much of a conflict between Carnage and Venom. That was missing throughout this entire film. That there was more of a conflict between Eddie and Venom than there was between Venom and Carnage. And the issues between Venom and Eddie Brock felt very forced to me. It just felt like they did that just so they can break up and then get back together to save the day at the end. But there isn't really a rising conflict between Venom and Carnage, nor is there much of a conflict between Eddie and Cletus Cassidy, aside from the fact that he stole his ex-girlfriend and he has to save her life. But other than that, there really isn't much between them, or at least I didn't feel it. And in the moment where Venom has to confront Carnage, he's absolutely terrified and just refuses to fight because he's a quote red one. What does that mean? Like again, if he explained it, I do not remember it, but I don't recall anything about red symbiotes and what it means and who Carnage truly is. None of that. He's just absolutely terrified, and then Eddie Brock just gives him a quick speech, and then he gets over it and they fight, and that's it. The fight is all over the place. Like the camera angles are pretty bad, the lighting is pretty bad, so it's kind of hard to really see what is actually happening, like who's inflicting what pain on who. I mean, there were moments where it was clear, but like for the majority of the fight, it's just all over the place. And the moment where Carnage takes Amy all the way up to the roof just made absolutely no sense. If you really wanted to piss Eddie off, or get an edge in the fight. Like, you could have just killed her immediately or threatened to kill her right there. What was the point of taking her all the way up to the roof? And Carnage also didn't follow through on his threat to kill can't even remember her name, Cletus's girlfriend or whatever. Yeah, if she ever did that again, he would kill her, and she did it again, and he didn't kill her. Right? I thought he was gonna bite her head off, and that would have been more interesting to me if Cassidy, like, he's so like consumed with his new power, but when he sees that his loved one is killed, Carnage doesn't care. He kills who he wants, when he wants, and all Cassidy is just a host. That would have been far more interesting to me than like what happened. And Cassidy's girl doesn't really have much of a role in this film because she's in the beginning and she's Cassidy's one true love. I mean, so he says, and he wants to break her out. Cool. She's in containment. She's just sitting there doing nothing, and then he breaks her out. That's pretty much it. Then she kidnaps Anne, and climax ensues. Like, nothing really goes on her end. She just kind of pisses Carnage off, and then yeah. And then going back to like the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom, it was really annoying. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was funny. At times it was very, very funny. But it just felt forced. Like, Venom just kept like interfering in his thoughts and in his conversations every 5 seconds. Like, can you have like 5 seconds without Venom saying anything? Like, let Eddie Brock be Eddie Brock, and then Venom comes out when we need him to. He doesn't have to be a present in every single scene of the film. But yeah, those are my biggest issues. I wished it was longer. I wish that like the director made up his mind on the tone he wanted to set for the film, whether it's going to be comedy or dark. I prefer it to be dark, to be honest, but I mean, if he wants to make it a comedy, so be it. But like, be consistent. And like, I wish it was rated R so that they could have shown more. And if it were a dark film, I'd like to see more of how the breakup between Eddie Brock and Amy affects Eddie, because I really enjoyed that conversation between Venom and Eddie where he says he can heal any injury that Eddie has, but he can't mend a broken heart. And like, that was really deep. But if that like were to like drive him into depression, or just just a pit of sadness, and that's the fight that Venom and Eddie had, and that's what drove them apart, that would have made more sense to me than just Venom being annoying like for the whole film. Well, not necessarily more sense, but like, it would have been better in my opinion, because Tom Hardy is a great actor and he could have captured those feelings very well. But I mean, the director just wanted to make it dark and comedic. It was very annoying and very inconsistent. On the bright side though, we learned that Venom is going to be a part of the Spider-Man universe. At least that's what I got from it. I don't know if it's just going to be a cameo in No Way Home, or a cameo or an appearance in another Spider-Man film, if it's going to be a part of like the MCU Avengers films, or if it's going to be strictly only for the Spider-Man films. I don't know if anything's been stated about that, if anything's been said regarding the appearance of Venom or whatever, but I'm really curious. I'm really excited to see how that works out. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna cut it right here. I don't want to be throwing spoilers around, and the film itself isn't even that long, so this isn't gonna be that long either. But let me know what you thought of the film in the comment section. If you liked this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already. And I will catch you guys next Friday in the next video. See you then. Bye bye.